I saw your pass. Go right ahead. Have a good one.
I do love working here in the university, even though my senior professor Esma can be a bit eccentric at times. You'll never guess what I found! The hot spring water is special. It's full of minerals. There's one mineral in particular. I can't quite match its particle shape to any other known minerals. It may be a new discovery. More study is needed, of course. I can't thank you enough for retrieving these samples for me. This could be an important contribution to science. What? Oh, yeah, that. No, definitely not. Melek's elixir doesn't even contain trace levels of hot spring water. It's just city rain water, the stuff we all drink every day. Definitely. I did some sample comparisons. Seems like he mixed other things in, sweeteners and flavorings by the looks of it. Anyway, definitely not the stuff from any of the springs. Totally different mineral profile. I'll be taking this report straight to the Shadian Post. I know a reporter there who will be very interested. Thank you so much for all your help. We've really done some good here.
Come back to taunt me? Or are you gonna give me the box after all? You! You stole the jewels, didn't you, you thieving shrew? I don't speak to liars.
Greetings. I have a message for you from North Seas Shipping. Safe travels.
Welcome back! We've got plenty more patrons interested in your work.
Let me know if you need any weird-tasting ground-up plants.
Well, look what you've done. You've run me out of business. By tomorrow, I'll be out of here. And some junky shop nobody wants will take my place. Get lost!
Oh, I can't stop thinking about my dinner. Pea soup and mushed pickled peas. We've got a lot of work down on the pea terraces. It can be draining, but I like to read in my free time. A nice book of poetry always boosts my spirits. Like I said, those are long gone now. Have you asked Victor? Well, he's the park ranger out by the Great Shade. I think his family line is Meadvie. But Lady Samira has long been interested in a box she supposedly lost out by the Teefmore Bluffs.
Life is good here in Nava.
I saw the tea house hosts a... Yes, you already asked. I nearly gave it to my grandmother.
Let me know if you need any weird tasting ground up plants. Yeah, I bought one. I knew it was a toxic tuber. It was pretty obvious. I already used it in a ritual, so you can't buy it back. Let me know if you need any weird tasting ground up plants.
Did you get them back? Oh dear, I can't believe this. All my days as a vendor are over, I just know it. Thank you for going out there. You can keep these tubers, just don't eat them. Hello again. Thanks for rounding up those poisonous veggies. What a shock. I was able to explain it to the market council. They said I've got one more chance. Can you believe that? I've got my eyes on the prize this time. No more mix-ups.
What? A box? Why are you bothering me with something like that? I do, actually. Okay, fine. Let's see it. Well, I can't say I ever expected to see this. Medva was my great-great-grandfather. His mother brought him to Eastshade with nothing to her name except some seeds from their homeland. According to the story, she kept them there, in that very box. She wanted to plant them here so Eastshade would share a piece of home. I can't believe you actually recovered it. It makes sense it would be Lady Samira's scheme, but I can't figure out what she'd want to do with seeds. Doesn't really seem to fit her style. Well, that's about the best thing I've ever heard. Pretty impressive you managed not to fall for her tricks. The seeds must still be in here. I've got another key somewhere. Unless Samira got to that one too somehow. I think I'll try planting them. In pots, of course. They're an invasive species. Thanks for rescuing this for me. It's nice to have a piece of my family's history.
You know what? This box is basically a historical artifact. It would be nice for other travelers to see a part of immigrant history. Would you mind delivering it to the innkeeper up the hill?
My great-great-grandparents built this lodge. It's held up pretty well, I'd say. With any luck, it'll stay up for many more generations. You might have met my old friend Nika. I heard there's an arts supplies store. What an ornate box. Oh, this is the famous seed box of the Medve family. I guess it's fitting to display it here, this being the place the Medve settled. Not at all. But us innkeepers, folks tell us things. Just the other night, I heard the wildest story about a strange musical group out in the woods. You ever think of all the interesting stories we hear night after night? I'm gonna set up a nice plaque for this. A traveling box. How fitting for an inn. Alright then, it's just up the stairs, second door on the right. My great...
Thanks again for the Yankee caps. See you.
Gather round, tea drinkers. Listen here. You ever hear of the story of the pauper and the elk? Oh, nary a traveller should pass through the borders of Eastshade without hearing the tale. Well, there was this boy, you see, a young pauper, who wandered Eastshade to and fro. Every day he settled himself on the cobblestone streets of Nava, the Portalindo, anywhere he thought passerby might take pity and toss a few glowstones his way. Most folks, they caught a glimpse of his tattered rags and unkempt appearance and looked the other way. Lucky he was, surviving all those nights he did as a youngster. Many days he made do with crumbs and fish scraps scrounged from the city. When he was fortunate enough to find such shreds before sunset, he'd hike along the shore to bathe in the hot springs. Other times he travelled no further than the forest river, thankful for a clean drink and somewhere to watch the colours of the sunset dance upon the water. Now, to say this pauper felt disparaged by his lack of glowstones would be a misleading claim indeed. He may have been alone by society standards. Folks certainly did turn up their snouts at him, but he could oft be found humming to himself, his inner life filled with imagination and more than a speck of joy. Most folk would be saddened by the lack of bread and tea, or the absence of thick quilts to warm the bones on a cold night, and yet this boy had to live through it each day. Hard to say whether it was the energy he put out into the world or the sound of his voice when the boy hummed. Whichever it was, one night an elk came to drink at the river's edge, unperturbed by the pauper's presence.
Welcome back. We've got plenty more patrons interested in your work. I've always wanted to live in one of those. They can get cold though. That stuff doesn't insulate very well.
Come round, and hear the tale of lovers lost at sea. Every eve there was a man who drowned in a mug of mead, braving some of Eastshade's coldest nights to take up post in the famed lighthouse. He was awaiting his love, you see, making sure the light was always shining, so she'd see her way back home. Years ago, his wife took to the seas, hoping to lay claim to a pile of sunken treasure. 'Twas the time of year when the storms grew more terrible with each passing week. But she swore it was the last time she'd take on such a risk. Although he hated to see her go, he stood at the dock and watched as she disappeared beyond the horizon. 'Twas the nature of their love, you see. They supported one another despite all odds. Well, the townsfolk thought him crazy. Ever since his wife was gone, he swore he heard his love cry out every nightly eclipse, wailing above the ruckus of the sea. It was a near inhuman sound. Oh, oh. One night, the poor man couldn't take it anymore, believing his love to be so near, but seeming so far. He swore he saw her trapped on a patch of rocks away from the shore. He cried out to her, "Alara! Alara!" Gather round. Come hear tale of trickery and wit. There was once a witch who lived in a tiny hut at the edge of a swamp. She was skilled in the healing arts and could cure nearly any ailment. Though she had many visitors, her truest companions were a cluster of spiders living under her table. One day, a man ambled up the path and knocked upon her door. You must be the wise witch Flara, curer of all ills. He looked around the hut with a sneer. People cross the world for your cures, and yet you live in this terrible shack. Surely folks pay dearly for the chance to continue breathing. But Flara was not one for glowstones, and she quite liked her home. She only stiffened and asked what his ailment was. So he told her of the terrible pains and aches he suffered. Horrible scratching in his toenails, in each strand of hair, and in his tear ducts. It was a torture like none other. But he'd heard of the cure, only to be found in the swamp near her home. The only way to ease his pain, the heart.